Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now for today's video, we're going to be introducing you to a brand new stock on the channel. It actually came to me in the form of a subscriber request. The name is Avricore Health, and I'm really excited to talk about this one for a number of reasons we're going to lay out in today's presentation. Now before we get into it, please take a second, hit the like button, you guys. It's a big help to myself and the channel. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. We just crossed the 20,000 subscriber milestone, which is absolutely phenomenal. And in addition to that, I'd be super curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section below on Avricore, if you're currently holding shares, and how you think they stack up to some of the other healthcare stocks we've covered on the channel recently. Now with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, we're going to be covering Avricore Health Incorporated, trades on the TSX Venture here in Canada under the ticker symbol AVCR. This one came to me in the form of a subscriber request, so I'd highly encourage you guys to drop a comment below if there's a company, specifically a penny stock, micro cap, or small cap company that you want me to review on the channel. I'd be more than happy to do so. This is a health tech focused company. Their main product is what's called HealthTab, which we're going to look at a little bit later in the presentation. And it's really focused on solving the POC, or point of contact challenge, that's really plaguing the healthcare industry right now. So it's a future forward company. As you can see here, been on quite a nice run over the last year. So the 52-week low was back on May 9th, actually at 9 cents. It ran all the way up to 36 cents at the end of November of last year, and it's now leveled out and found support right around that 30 cent Canadian mark. As you can see, was up 1 cent or about 3.5% on the session. This is as of close on Wednesday, January 25th, and definitely one to keep an eye on if you want exposure to the Canadian health and health tech space. Now, if we jump over to the Avricore Health corporate website, I'll leave a link in the video description below. You can see moving pharmacy forward. Our mission at Avricore is to enrich lives by making actionable health data and clinical services more accessible for everyone and the patients and customers that use this platform. And we're going to see some of the major partnerships, one of which is with Shoppers Drug Mart, that are really propelling this platform across Canada and eventually globally. Now, in terms of the About Us section, you can see they're community focused, they're patient centered and data driven, which we're going to talk about as we move through the presentation. And really the pinnacle of this company's technology is their HealthTab solution, which gives on-demand biomarkers in a matter of minutes for patients who need to monitor a variety of different chronic conditions. Now, as you all know, I love companies that really set out to solve a problem. So the problem here is healthcare needs new tools. A lot of the systems, as we've talked about in previous videos, are outdated, they're legacy systems, and they're not really future forward or keeping up to a lot of the other technological advances we've seen in other industries. Healthcare systems around the world are feeling the strain of reactive models that are costly and ineffective. And at Avricore Health, they believe in a more accessible and proactive approach, again by on-demand monitoring, that empowers patients and improves outcomes. So really preventing a lot of these conditions from escalating before patients need to go to the hospital or seek additional care. Now, I mentioned a little bit earlier the importance of tracking chronic diseases. We've talked about this in prior videos as well. So 71% of the deaths worldwide are attributed to chronic illness, and the majority of global disease burden is from these various different issues. Yet many of these chronic conditions are preventable and can be managed proactively if the right medication and lifestyle modifications are made. And a lot of times the disconnect here is people don't know how these modifications are really impacting those biomarkers or biometrics. Now, if we zoom into Canada alone, you can see the direct cost of healthcare associated with chronic illness came in at $68 billion, so an absolutely massive market opportunity. 50% or 1 in 2 of Canadians over the age of 20 have one or more chronic diseases. So it impacts a huge amount of people and costs a huge amount of money. And 1 in 3 Canadians currently have diabetes or pre-diabetes, which again is a worldwide challenge and a chronic illness that people in multiple different countries around the world are currently challenged with. Now, as we continue to move through the investor presentation, now that we've identified the issue and the target market, you can see the market potential for the POC or POCT, which stands for point of care testing market, is poised for significant growth. So you can see in 2021, this represented about a $36 billion market opportunity. By 2030, they expect that to grow almost threefold, up to $93.2 billion. And this is a trend we've seen in a number of these small cap medical videos we've reviewed on the channel, you guys. A lot of companies are really focused on this market because it's convenient, it's proactive, and it helps people make positive change in their life without bogging down the medical system. And that's really where the HealthTab solution or product comes into play. So this is a turnkey point of care testing for pharmacy solution. You can see a variety of different platforms here that combined bring the best point of care analyzers onto a single secure cloud-based network. So patients and doctors have access to this anywhere in the country. It gives patients and pharmacists access to actionable data in real time when it matters most or when this data is most important. So you can see there's personalized reports, real-time data, customized health surveys, lab accurate testing that all live in the cloud, and patient consent that can actually be obtained through the terminal itself. Now, in terms of the actual biomarkers that the HealthTab platform monitors, you can see body mass index, blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar levels, really a number of key metrics that help determine and proactively identify problems. It provides fast, lab-accurate results for screening and monitoring, again, of chronic diseases, as well as testing for some common viral and bacterial infections that, again, mean patients don't have to go sit in waiting rooms or walk-in clinics and can instead access this information on demand in real time. And then the final point being this data can be viewed immediately online, again, from the cloud platform to give real-time access to this information. So as I referenced a little bit earlier, there's a number of players that are now starting to compete in this market. However, the difference here, or the competitive advantage for Avricore, is the HealthTab was the first to market. It's a dedicated point of care system specifically for pharmacies. There's quality control, so world-class quality control programs, harmonized data, which really gives that single testing network for those consistent results. It can be easily integrated, so their API system allows for plug-in at a number of existing pharmacy technology platforms. It's pharmacy focused, so expert knowledge of industry and operations was built into this platform as part of the design and Q&A or testing on the development. And it's ultimately patient-centered, so designed for convenience and quality of care for the end consumer or customer that's using these terminals. Now, speaking of terminals, you can see a number of different hardware offerings that really contribute to this testing menu. So through agreements with Abbott Rapid Diagnostics, HealthTab currently supports the following 3 point-of-care testing devices, which you can see on the right here. So the Affineon 2, which is really focused on the patient's lipid profile, the iStat terminal, which is focused on kidney function and electrolytes, and the ID Now platform on the right here, which is focused on RSV, strep throat, influenza A and B, and some of those common flu-type symptoms. And again, all 3 of these terminals or platforms are easily adapted and integrated into existing pharmacy technology. So now that we understand the problem, the solution, and the HealthTab platform, I wanted to talk about the business model and specifically how Avricore generates revenue for the organization. So there's over 100,000 pharmacies in Canada, the United States, and the UK. So this is the total addressable market. Again, they market these products specifically or directly to pharmacies, and there's currently 32 Shoppers Drug Mart locations in Canada that are using this technology. And the company is entering a growth phase, which we're going to talk about in a second here. So in terms of the fee model, it's $250 a month for the system itself at each pharmacy. The monthly cost is to lease the system per location based on a single instrument. So if they have multiple different POC terminals, that's going to increase the cost. And it's designed to be rapidly scaled through their Abbott distribution agreement. And as we all know, Abbott is one of the biggest players in the healthcare sector globally. So it really gives them the opportunity to scale quite efficiently. Now, they also get a percentage of the testing revenue. So HealthTab also generates revenue with each test that's conducted on these terminals, specifically through consumable reagents. So some of the materials that are required for the test, and opportunities to drive volume, including customized programs for health insurers and CROs, which stands for Contact Research Organization. So a number of different revenue opportunities. And again, what I love here, you guys, it's recurring revenue. And I bring that word up in so many of these presentations because companies that build their business model on recurring month-over-month revenue, it's super stable, it's super predictable, and very attractive to the investment community. So this slide here really talks about the network growth of the HealthTab platform. So by end of year, they're hoping to have the platform in approximately 450 different pharmacies. Next year, being 2023, they're looking at 1,000 locations, a combination of Canada and other markets around the world like the UK and United States. And after that, so 2024, looking at 2,500 installed pharmacies. So about a 2.5 times growth from this year, and really targeting some of those big pharmacy networks that have thousands of different outlets like a CVS or a Walgreens, for example, in the United States, that really give them access to a number of key markets around North America. And Shoppers Drug Mart here in Canada is really a great example of that distribution model. So in August of 2022, Avricore announced a master agreement to expand their HealthTab platform for diabetes management in up to 450 Shopper Drug Mart locations, plus Canadian Superstore and the pharmacies that are located within those grocery stores. So this is a huge step forward and really validates the work and the platform that Avricore has put together. And I think represents just the tip of the iceberg in terms of this company's growth strategy over the next couple of years. And that really leads us to this slide here where I wanted to end the presentation talking about some of the projections for year end of 2023. So you can see they give 3 scenarios, a low, mid, and high install or growth plan for the year, ranging from anywhere on the low side of about 930 store locations to about 2,100 on the high side. So we'll look at the mid for argument's sake here at 1,371 locations. If they're able to average about 4 patients per day, which seems very conservative given the foot traffic in a lot of these stores, the revenue works out to just under $30 million with a cost of sale of about $19 million. So gross profit, again in the mid case scenario here, would work out to just shy of $11 million with a gross margin of about 37% and operating expenses just shy of $2 million. So that would give Avricore net income of $9 million by the end of this year with a 30% net margin. And again, this is a company, as we saw in the intro, with a market cap in the neighborhood of about $30 million. Now, in addition to that, they're expecting to have cash and accounts receivable in the neighborhood of about $12 million, so about a third of their market cap, with total assets in the neighborhood of about $15.6 million. So very attractive multiple here if Avricore is able to deliver on this rollout or growth plan during 2023. And this is definitely what caught my eye and why I wanted to get this video out. I think a lot of these small cap companies have really been beaten up throughout 2022. Avricore has kind of bucked that trend as it's sitting close to a 52-week high. And this is definitely one to take note of as they start to get into some of those big national chains or pharmacies here in North America. So for those reasons, you guys, I'm super excited about this one. Very happy that someone put it on my radar, again in the form of a subscriber request. I'd be super curious to hear your thoughts on Avricore in the comment section below. How do you think they stack up to some of these other health tech companies? And are you currently holding any shares? If you're still watching the video at this point, hopefully you found some value, so make sure you smash the like button. And if you're not currently subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.